Hey, Mary Beth, how are you today?
I'm great, Celine. How are you?
It's so nice to meet you virtually. Thank you for being our guinea pig for our first member spotlight for the American Board of Certification for Business Bankruptcy Practitioners and Consumer Bankruptcy Practitioners like yourself. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and we're going to be brief. Just tell us about your practice.
I work here in Nashville in the Middle District of Tennessee. I've been a lawyer since 1996, and I do dedicate my practice to representing consumer debtors in Chapter 13s and Chapter 7s.
So what would you say would be like your favorite client or type of case that you work on?
You know, when I first started
Case that you work on.
When I first started practicing in 1996, I really represented whoever really walked through the door. I was a brand new lawyer. And I did a lot of divorces and some criminal work and just a variety of things. But I found that I felt good when I represented someone in a Chapter 13. And these folks are ones who, some hardship happened to them and they were, going to lose their house. And they come in and they look defeated. Shoulders are slumped. They're just filled with, humiliation, desperation, hopelessness. And when I can put together a Chapter 13 plan where it saves the house and reorganizes all of their debts in a way that they can afford it, I feel good about it. And you see a physical transformation. The shoulders aren't slumped anymore, and there might still be tears, but now it's tears of hope and joy and relief. And those are my favorites. Those who I can really make a difference in their lives and in their families' lives.
Mm-hmm. I think, definitely with the type of work we do, there is that service component, and it certainly, there's a feel-good kickback for sure.
Yeah.
Can you give us just your short bio?
Okay, so I started practicing in 96. In 2007, I believe, is when I became board certified with the American Board of Certification with consumer rights. And seems like shortly thereafter, I got on the board of directors of ABC, and I've been the vice chair of the Standards Committee, chair of the Standards Committee for a while. And then I was secretary, now I'm treasurer, and I'm just kind of moving up that chain. I've also served on the board of directors for the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys. I've served as the state chair for the state of Tennessee on the legislative kind of outreach. I am a president of the Middle Tennessee Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys. I speak at conferences. My passion in speaking with other bankruptcy practitioners is kind of best practices and how to really represent your clients correctly.
I got to ask you that question. I think bankruptcy work is difficult work, particularly on the debtor side. I think bankruptcy work is difficult work, particularly on the debtor side. I do a lot of Chapter 11 debtor work. And how do you cope with sometimes there's just a lot of sad people, really distressed people. How have you coped with that?
One thing, I am from the South and I'm a hugger. The pandemic has kind of curtailed that somewhat. I can't really do those big hugs, but we are masked up. I do have, this is cheesy, but I can't give hugs, but I'll give kisses. But I do find that, I'm not only a lawyer. Sometimes I really feel like I'm a therapist. I mean, folks aren't safe. Nobody wants to talk about financial failures or perceived financial failures to just anybody. It's embarrassing to them. And when they come in, they can finally just let it out. And there are times that I will leave my side of the desk, go to the other side, and I'll put a hand on their shoulder, on their knee, or, kind of around their back. And when I do physically hug them, I feel this release of, you can feel it. And I will tell them, just give it to me. Just let me take all of that. I can't solve all your problems, but I can solve this. And the solving of your financial problem will help you with your stress and your sleeping and your just overall well-being. The hardest time, and I had a client just this morning, here in Nashville, our property values are just through the roof. And there are so many people who are really property rich, but money poor. And those are the hard ones when they can't afford the required Chapter 13 plan payment. They can't pay their unsecured creditors what they would get in a Chapter 7 to protect that property in a 13. And then, of course, Chapter 7 is going to result in the loss of the property in a liquidation sale. Those are the hard ones. I do have contacts with, bankers and mortgage guys that can get a refinance when folks' credit's not so good. And that may face a little high interest rate to start with because of the credit. But then I've got other places where I can send them. That's just the worst, is if I can't help them. But those that I can, I will listen to them. I will empathize with them. I've even shed tears with my clients. I just think these folks need that. They don't need someone with just paper and pen and a calculator and just say, well, this is your payment. Oh, so what? I'm sorry, you can't afford it. Get out. No. That's not who I am, and that's not who these people need. So I just do my best to just represent them zealously and passionately and with compassion, and listen to them.
Do you do Chapter 7 work as well?
I do. We are in Nashville. We are very heavy Chapter 13. And now, again, with property values being as they are, if you're a homeowner, in all likelihood, you're going to have to go in Chapter 13 route, because our homestead exemptions are horrible here in Tennessee. So we are very heavy 13s, but, Chapter 7s, if someone comes in and if they can do a 7, that is an immediate kind of fresh start. You're over and done with in 90 days. Yeah, it may stay on your credit report for 3 extra years, but there's definitely life after bankruptcy. If someone can do a 7, I'm all about it. But if you have a home, in all likelihood.
What do you do in your spare time?
I'm a wannabe chef. I cook like crazy. I've got Southern cooking down. You want some buttermilk biscuits and some sausage gravy, I'm all over it. And pinto beans and cornbread, that kind of stuff. But I really try to elevate it up, and I read cookbooks. I'm on Pinterest constantly reading recipes, and I cook every night. Last night I'm on a big health kick right now. So I made a lasagna with zucchini instead of noodles, and chicken instead of beef, and then the kind of low fat and skim milk, ricotta and mozzarella, and it's delicious. And I just cook, and my real goal is when I ultimately retire from the practice of law, I want to open a bed and breakfast.
That is so cool. I love to hear about all these other side things that we do. I think it's just lawyers are multifaceted, and I love to hear about the passions that we have aside from practicing law. And I can see that you truly are passionate about it, which Leads my next question. Recently, you were inducted as a fellow into the American College of Bankruptcy in Indianapolis at the National Conference of Bankruptcy Judges. Congratulations. And this is one of the reasons why we chose you to be our inaugural member highlight. So can you tell us about that experience?
First, I was truly blown away. I mean, the whole nomination process is completely in secret. I had no idea. I was like under some investigation about my whole professional career. When I got the email and immediately there was a phone call from the regent from the Sixth Circuit, I'm like, what? So I was really blown away. And then I went, it wasn't something, I thought it was a Chapter 11 thing. You know, you had to be a judge or a professor or, you know, an ivory tower Chapter 11 lawyer. And, you know, I'm a consumer debtors lawyer. I went to the website, and then when I was really reading, I was like, oh my gosh, who nominated me? And, you know, it was really an honor. I was supposed to be officially inducted March of 2020, but it was canceled because of COVID. And then it was supposed to be March of 2021, but it got rescheduled again to last month at the NCBJ. And so there were two classes together. And it was, I don't know, I feel really honored. And I have since got on the Sixth Circuit Admissions Board. And so, you know, now I'm kind of like reviewing these nominations. And then when I saw like the 50-page like application that someone took the time to fill out on me and then sponsors, I was even more kind of blown away. But I think a lot of it is, you know, I do speak a lot across the country, and I think, and I've always just been involved, and that's just kind of how I've just always been with everything. And so I think that's what kind of I got on somebody's radar.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. The induction ceremony, it was a little different because it's normally black tie from what I understand. This year we had COVID protocols and we were masked up and we had cocktail dresses and just business suits. But it was a wonderful induction and reception and dinner. It was great. And I'm blown away. I still am blown away. And there's not very many women. Women are definitely a minority, and consumer debtor lawyers are a real minority in this. And so it just feels good. It feels really good.
Well, congratulations. I was at that conference. I was so happy to see so many colleagues like you, esteemed colleagues, very well deserved. And I thank you for your time. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording.